Well, considering there's now less than 2 weeks to go until Dawn Treader comes out, don't panic. Haven't really heard that much from me on this channel. The main reason for that is I've basically taken a no spoiler vow from here on out. I think, which is, it might be surprising to those of you that followed me on the Prince Caspian movie. With Prince Caspian, I decided, basically because I visited the set, I'm like, if there's going to be one Narnia movie where I just view every single spoiler and read everything, this is the one to do it on. So I just went crazy on Prince Caspian. And I'm going to try to show a little more restraint this time. So there's a ton of new footage. There's a bunch of clips. There's behind the scenes stuff. There's pictures. There's interviews. There's all kinds of stuff. And a lot of which I haven't seen. And it's kind of a challenge to. This is especially a challenge this weekend. Trying to post news stories, but not be spoiled. Especially like some of these new clips. I watched a couple of them. Like, okay, well, here they are. Here's the link. So it's kind of hard to write news stories but not be spoiled yourself. We'll see how that works out. But of course, there's a bunch of reviews for the film, or not so much reviews, but sort of general reactions to the film from Narnia Webbers, and most of it's very, very positive. And one from Jim Fan in particular, whose opinion I really respect. I know her well from the Narnia Web podcast. She liked it, and so that just makes me feel a little better about the movie. But I probably could have gone to a screening. I turned it down for a couple of reasons. The main reason was that I really want to see it with my brother. And that was, we're big Narnia fans, and I just thought, that would be that would really suck, just to walk out of the movie and have no one to talk about it with, I don't think that would really suck. And we're both big Narnia fans, so I wanted to see it with him. I have seen 2 clips from the film I want to talk about. I'll talk about at least one. If I have time, I'll talk about both of them. I just said, okay, I'll just watch 2 here. Started getting kind of spoilerish for me. I felt bad, so okay, I'm going to stop. One of them is overall really encouraging. The other one's kind of not blasphemy or anything, but I don't really like the scene. The first one is Lucy and Reepicheep talking at the prow of the Dawn Treader. And I'm going to just do this, analysis, assuming you've already seen them. Starts with Reepicheep singing his little lullaby on the prow, and Lucy comes up and says, "What do you think it's at the end of the world? What do you think it's at the end of the world?" He says, "Well, I think it's Aslan's country." And she's like, "Oh, do you think you could really sail there?" And he's like, "Well, there's only one way to find out. I hope I get to go there." And there you go. Overall, this scene was definitely encouraging because I really, again, kind of like I said in my last trailer analysis, wow, that felt like a scene from Voyage of the Dawn Treader pretty much. And I really felt the sense of anticipation for Aslan's country and longing. Interestingly enough, I'll talk about this in a second, not so much longing from Reepicheep, but longing from Lucy for Aslan's country. This is what I would call, the way the scene is edited, I would call it character-driven editing, where we're not just trying to speed through the dialogue and get on with the story. Like, it cuts to Lucy, a couple seconds of her reaction, and then, do you really think you could sail there? You can feel her sense of, that would be really cool, to get there. I really like that. And again, that's wonderfully subtle. It's not that Lucy could have said, "I really want to go there. I really feel the sense of longing, Reepicheep. Do you think you could sail there?" No, that 2-second pause where you can see the longing. Great job by Georgie here. You can just see it on her face how much she would like to go there. And then, do you really think it's sail? The pause and then the way she delivers the line says, there's more going on underneath than Lucy is really letting on here. Wonderfully subtle. That's visual storytelling. That's great. I love how that's done. I just thought it was interesting. It's not so much from Reep as from Lucy I felt the sense of longing. And that kind of leads me to one of my... I have 2 kind of gripes with this film. The first one is nothing. Just a fanboy nitpicky thing. The other one is potentially big. We'll see. But the first one is... I just didn't like the tune they came up with for Reepicheep's lullaby. I mean, maybe he's just singing it differently here than he does in the rest of the film. Like, "West sky and want to meet. There the waves go sweet." It's a little too happy jolly, like it's kind of like a commercial or something like that. And part of that's because I kind of know in my head what I think it should sound like, on the BBC radio drama of Dawn Treader, not to be confused with the BBC TV series or the Focus on the Family radio drama. This is a BBC radio drama. They came up with a really good tune for Reepicheep's lullaby, and I remember hearing that and just immediately thinking, oh, that's got to be what it sounds like. I really liked it. It sounded much more slow and moving and poetic, and this is like that da 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 da. It doesn't really convey that sense of longing that I would want it to, and that sense of wonder for Reepicheep. So that's just not a big deal at all, just a minor nitpicky thing. The other thing that's potentially a bigger deal is Reepicheep's attitude towards the idea of sailing to Aslan's country. He's talking to Lucy, and he's like, well, basically, it has been a while since I've seen the clip. And he's like, well, it basically says, oh, I hope I get to go there someday. I didn't get the sense of that this is his heart's desire. He's been wanting this his whole life. In the book, he says the spell of it has been on me my whole life. This is everything in Reaper Chief's being. His very soul wants to go to Dawn Treader. He's so convinced if I look beyond the world, somehow life will make sense. I'll be able to make sense of all this. You know, that it's his heart's true desire. It's so strong that when he gets there, he throws his sword away and says, "I don't need this anymore. I found something better." It's a really big deal if you know anything about Reaper Chief that he would do that. And here it just seemed like he was talking about going to Disney World. It was like, oh, that would be really cool. That'd be fun. Yeah, I want to do that. You know? Yeah, Ascend's Country. Hope I get to go there. And again, this is just one scene. There may very well be other scenes in the movie where that's conveyed. I hope there are. All I can do is react to the footage I'm seeing now. But I hope they understand this is not just some cool thing Reaper Chief wants to do. This is everything in him wants this. Has been wanting this his whole life. And if they don't establish that when they get to the end of the film, and he finally gets there, it won't be as powerful. Because if they don't establish just how important this is to him, it won't be as powerful. Overall, thumbs up. I will say the Prow of the Dawn Treader kind of looks like a parade balloon to me. That was a little weird. But overall, very encouraging scene because I felt like the heart of the story was there. I just hope it's stronger. Again, this scene to me is a case of not missing the point because the sense of longing is there, but kind of lessening the power of it. You know, you don't quite get just how much Reaper Chief wants it. Hope that comes through. So definitely overall, big thumbs up. That actually made me feel a little bit better about the film overall. We know it really feel like, okay, that whole element of wanting to go to Aslan's country, the longing for it is going to be there, but is it going to be the focus? That's the thing you can't know until you actually see the movie. The trailers indicate it's totally not, you know, but we'll see what all that matters is if it is in the final film. Overall, very positive reaction to the scene. The other clip is the MLG, Mysterious Little Girl, Gale, or Mysterious Little Gale, some people call her, talking to Lucy by looks like a campfire on one of the islands. And I think this scene is meant to be very reminiscent of a scene in the Prince Caspian movie where Lucy and Susan have a conversation, which is one of my favorite scenes in Prince Caspian. I think they're kind of referencing that here. And basically, it's again, it's been a while since I've seen it, and if I forget the details, well, good, because I don't want to be spoiled. So I'll just assume go ahead and forget it. But basically, the MLG says, "Oh, my mom's gone. Are we gonna find her?" And Lucy says, "Yeah, don't worry, we'll find her. You know, Aslan will help us." And then the MLG is like, "But he let her be captured in the first place." And Lucy's like, "Oh, you have to have faith about these things." I kind of groaned through this scene. I didn't even want to finish it when I was watching it because I just thought the dialogue was so clumsily written. This is basically Bob and Larry coming onto the countertop and saying, "Oh, here's what we learned today." It's again the subtlety I just talked about in the last clip, where it's like shot of Lucy's face. Pause, and she says, "Do you really think you could sail there?" Without her even having to say it, you know, wow, Lucy is wanting this, wanting Aslan's country more than she's even letting on here. That's so much more powerful, and much more believable, because in real life, people don't look at you and tell you everything that's going on in their lives and what they're learning. We have to kind of look at them and infer it, you know? So this to me was just, again, I should emphasize, there's nothing wrong with having those ideas in the film. Actually, conceptually, what I really like about this scene, I think it's very clumsily written, but the idea of the scene, I think, is that Lucy has a lot more trust in Aslan than she did in Prince Caspian. In Prince Caspian, Lucy is trying to hang in there, but you can see in Prince Caspian she's doubting. She's like, where's Aslan been for 1,300 years? And she still hangs on. She still trusts in him, but you can see she's doubting. She's kind of struggling with it. She ultimately hangs on to her faith, and she's rewarded for it at the end. Really nice little arc for her. And here we can see she's picking up where she left off in Prince Caspian. You can see where because of what she went through in Prince Caspian, it's very believable that even though it seems like Aslan's gone, she would still hang on and believe and trust in him because she had this whole experience in the Prince Caspian movie where she doubted, but ultimately Aslan came through in the end. So again, here we see them developing Lucy from where she was in Prince Caspian. I really like that. This is why I'm concerned about Edmund and the White Witch. It seems like, well, he's just going back to who he was in Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. They're not developing him. They're not developing him anymore. Just a sense you get from watching trailers and stuff. We'll see how it comes across. So conceptually, I like the idea of this scene. It's just so poorly written. All the subtlety is gone. I think it does a great disservice to Lewis as a writer, who was very subtle and nuanced, and you had to kind of, he wouldn't spoon feed you. This is a tendency in Hollywood that Lewis did not have, which is, you know, Hollywood tends to spoon feed you the story instead of kind of making you think about it for yourself a little bit. Ooh, imagine that. But I think it's the essence of art for me is that of good art in general. Obviously, I would never want to make a overarching matter-of-fact statement about all art, but in general, it seems to me that the best kind of art, you know it here before you know it here. That's why you would take these concepts and, the one thing movies can do is put images to emotions that are hard to describe. And I think it's very important to feel something before you intellectually know what it's about. I think if you really read the book, have a very emotional reaction to Reapy Cheap and oh wow, his heart's desire being fulfilled. You're not thinking, oh, I get it. He had the sense of longing and he found it. But you're like, oh, he got there. That's so great. You feel it. You know it before you know it here before you know it here. And that's something Lewis did. And this is just so easy. Oh, we'll just have him say, oh, it's about trusting an Aslan. That's so lazy. Have that just come through in the characters, like in the first scene I talked about, actually. Where you see Lucy, that pause on Lucy's face communicates so much. So this isn't a bad. Doesn't make me angry or anything. Although a huge change from the book, although it's a lot less subtle than the book. I guess you could say that's a change. Just think it's poorly written. Overall thoughts on Dawn Treader. I guess you could say I'm feeling, like I said at the end of the last trailer analysis, that I was feeling skeptical but hopeful. Skeptical because a lot of this stuff I'm seeing looked bad, but hopeful because, well, it's clear we haven't seen a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff we haven't seen. Maybe that's all the good stuff. And I guess you could say I'm pretty much the same now, except maybe I'm a little less skeptical and a little more hopeful. And a big part of that is being all these reviews that have come out that seem so positive. So we'll see. Ultimately, I mean, the fact that I didn't like the Seven Swords plot and all this stuff in the trailers ultimately means nothing, because all that matters is, does it work in the movie? The fact that the trailers are totally devoid of the sort of the theme of longing and the desire for Aslan's country and the adventure, that it's the fact that it's not there in the trailer doesn't ultimately mean anything. All that matters is it in the movie? And some of these clips have given me hope that maybe it is there, even though it's not in any of the trailers, and it could be. And obviously that's the only reaction that matters. So I make these videos so that I can look back and say, what were my initial impressions? And I would anticipate many of them to be wrong. In fact, I like that when I go back and watch my old videos and go, oh wow, I was totally wrong about that one. Look how far I've come. Look how far I've changed. Look how different the movie ended up turning out. I think it's fun. So I love making these videos, but the only video that truly matters, or the only videos I should say, will be my thoughts on the movie after I see it. And I'll have that video up in about 2 weeks now, after I see the film. So I'm not sure how much I'll be posting in the next couple of weeks, because I do want to stay spoiler free. I did reread the book recently. I might post some new thoughts I have on that. But this is it. Home stretch. Further up and further in.